Hello, my awesome network. How are you all doing? Hope you're having a great Tuesday. It's Tuesday today. I'm just trying to think what day of the week it is. Um, but yeah, have a great. Hopefully, you're having a great Tuesday and a great week so far. Um, I think today's topic is a bit different. I just wanted. I want to check that I am live, so I just need to check that on my mobile just to make sure that I'm up and running. If you're joining, please let me know where you're joining from. Put it in the chat, and I'll keep an eye also on your questions. So if you have any questions, just please let me know while going through the live today. So yes, I think I'm live. So I'm live on LinkedIn and on YouTube, on um, both platforms. So today's topic is a bit different, and I haven't done one of those in a while. The ones where I'm chatting more about actually like life and career or how to manage your career somehow. So it's not data strategy or emerging tech, which I think I've been doing a lot of videos on that. This one stemmed a bit differently from basically, I got a lot of questions lately, to be honest, on my messages and while coaching and mentoring some people. It was like, oh, Fatema, how do you make time for everything? You seem to be doing a lot of stuff. And I felt, well, you know what? Maybe I can cover that in one of the videos and share what has so far been working for me. That doesn't mean that it should be working for everyone, but at least I'm giving you an example. And I think you would be the best person to really judge if it would work for you or not. You don't have to take the 5 suggestions I'm sharing, um, but you might be able to tailor them to how what works for you best, or maybe look at different substitutes. I'll share things that as well I've came across, but they didn't work for me. So that doesn't mean that they are not good, but it does mean that it didn't work for me. So, but I'll share them anyway. So, um, I think as leaders and as people like going up the ladder, we get a lot of a lot of um, tasks, and a lot of life kind of throws things at us as well. And I feel like this is why I'm sharing a lot of stuff here at the moment, because I feel like I wish I had the access to people who have done things and reached leadership positions when I was early on in my career or at my early stages of middle management, or higher management lords, LTs. Um, so I feel like hopefully that would help some people. So as some of you know, I have like my full-time job, which is I lead the global data strategy and platforms globally across for Unilever. I'm also doing research with the University of Cambridge, and with that, I speak at conferences, and I also do some coaching, one-to-ones, which is brilliant. And I love doing coaching for leadership. And I'm on the General Assembly for the University of Manchester, and I obviously have my podcast and live videos, which I do, and I do post on LinkedIn. I also do like running and cycling, so I'm quite like with fitness and things. I love reading, traveling, obviously family and friends. I'm so blessed to have everyone around me. So I think I get when people ask, like, okay, how do we do it all? And really, the first thing I want to say is like, you can't do everything. Okay. You just really, the first thing is really you do the things that are important for you. And it doesn't have to be really important for everyone. Prioritization is different. So you just really need to know what works better for you. And I think as we get older, we get, you know, more recognized in our careers, and obviously we need to take care more of our health and all that. We just need to manage that better. So let me deep dive straight away into the 5 suggestions that, or the 5 things how I do stuff. So the first thing is really, I am quite, first thing is prioritization. And I would say I wasn't always good at that, but I've reached a point now where I have clarity, and prioritization is, for me, is important. And with that, I do really three things, or there are like three practical tips that I can share. When it comes to prioritization, I do the things I enjoy. If it brings me joy in life and happiness, I do it. If it doesn't, then it goes through a matrix, which I'll explain in a bit, because sometimes you enjoy things, but you have to do admin stuff that you don't really enjoy. But anyway, so I do things I enjoy. So I've moved career, as most of you know. So I moved from finance to data and emerging tech, and I love it. So that was a conscious thing. I did something I love, and I've shifted careers. Um, I also work with the 80/20 rule, which means that not everything has to be perfect. I was a perfectionist at a point, but now I feel like it's only if it only needs to be perfect. That means that if I'm on medication, I need to take certain medication, like, or there are things where, yeah, you have to be really careful to have it 100%, or looking at financial data. So I'm really, yes, but most of the things you can really work with the 80/20 rules, with the 80/20 rule. So first thing, as I said, in prioritization, do the things that bring me joy. I know what I love in life, and I'm just very clear about it. 80/20 rule. And the third thing is I use something called the Eisenhower metrics, which is very simple. If I need to do something, if it's urgent and important, I do it straight away. Let's just try to find the time and just get it out of the way, whether it's at work or in personal life. If it's important but not that urgent, then I schedule it. I put it in my calendar and I put some time for it to do it, some time aside to do it. If it is urgent but not important, then I can either outsource it, delegate it, I'll find a way. So if it doesn't have to have me doing it, then I do that. And then if it's not important and not urgent, I just eliminate it, really. So this is how I work through things in my head when it comes to prioritization. And I obviously have a prioritizer, like, okay, this is really important, like certain things in life, they just have to be prioritized, and you just know that it has to take your number one priority. So that's the first kind of my first secret, or the first thing I do is prioritization. The second is the people who know me and are colleagues or friends, they know pretty well that I always say, if it's not in my calendar, I'm not doing it. So if we're going out, even as friends, if I don't put it straight away in my calendar, sorry, I'll forget. I'm very I use my calendar as the main things. I've tried to use to-do lists. They definitely don't work for me. So if you're a to-do list person and it works for you, that's brilliant. For me, I found that I either had scattered pieces of paper around me, or notes in my notebook, or post-it, or even when I tried to use like electronic stuff, or like, technology to do things, I ended up like not even knowing where I wrote things on my iPad. So it didn't help. I am definitely a calendar person. So if anything, literally, if anything comes up, I just put it in the calendar. Even if it's just like, look up this website because I don't know, there is something there, a course or whatever, then I'll just put it in the calendar. And what I do with my calendar is I sit on a Sunday in the evening, I just get a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea, and have very chilled evening where I look at my calendar during next week, put things around, put my exercises, my fitness routine, food, going out with friends, seeing family, everything needs to be in the calendar. And daily I look at that time block. So if you see my calendar, it's literally crazy, it's back to back, but even like travel times and things are there. Again, that can stress people out. For me, oh my god, I feel like that's brilliant because I can see exactly where I am. And at the end of every day, so I plan it on the start of the week, and during the week I look at it in the evening. So today evening, what I'll be doing is like reviewing it. Things happen. So if during the day, for example, I had to stay a little bit at work, so instead of finishing on time or finishing at a certain time, I finished, I don't know, I had a couple of meetings and then I had to move some things out. Or if something comes in and then I had to move, so it just makes life easy because life gets in the way and I need clarity on what happens in my life. Again, that works for me. Please just check what works for you, because again, as much as it, for me, it's very, very organized, it can stress people out. So, as I said, it's prioritization, blocking. And then the third thing is I eliminate any distractions and kind of what I call like decision fatigue, things that can make my mind hurt somehow. So, any distractions. So, I don't have notifications on my phone except very, very little notifications. Um, so, social media, WhatsApp groups, all of that, like, I can't, it's just like, it is unnecessary notifications. And they are just, it's just a waste of time. I can look at those later. And obviously, I prioritize my time. So, if I'm investing my time in something, it needs to kind of really work for me. So that's how I do it. I also kind of batch things together. So, for example, if I have a university, like I have a university email, I just look at that like half an hour. So I do that once a day. If I need to look at something or prepare something, I just, yeah, I try to group things together that makes sense somehow. Um, and just automate certain decisions. Like if I have a grocery shopping or whatever, I just automate things like minimum intervention. I can't be bothered. Again, some people might find joy in those things. For me, I'm like, can't be bothered. So again, eliminating distractions and decision fatigue. That's for me is really important. And then the fourth thing is outsource. I outsource stuff, and I think a lot of leaders would say that they outsource stuff and automate. That means that, like, for example, I don't do my PT sessions. Like, I have that done by my PT. He sends it across. He knows if I'm training for a race or doing something, and then he manages that. He puts the right exercises in. I just go and do it. Which is, again, some people do find that like they thrive on creating those things, and if you do, please do it. And I think just realize what you can automate, what you can outsource, and what you can't. A lot of people have, for example, they outsource cleaning or they outsource, cooking or things like that, while some people enjoy. Again, do what is right for you and see what can be outsourced. um I also automate and I use AI. Like if I'm going on a trip, and I know that's like a very weird example, but if I'm, for example, if I'm traveling, and I think I was in Sweden the other few months ago, and I wanted to plan the trip, and I'm not like a trip advisor person. So what I did is I literally just went on ChatGPT and I said, I'm in Switzerland, I'm here for 3 days, I'm only available to go out on Sunday from this day to that day, from that time to that time. I actually like, I'd like to go to the Nobel Museum. I'd like to go to the ABBA. I like to do this, this, and that. And I love walking. And I don't want, like, I'll skip breakfast, but then I'll do lunch. So, sorry, I'll skip lunch, but I would like to do breakfast because I love having breakfast in the morning. So I was very clear on what I wanted. And then ChatGPT gave me a few things. I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. I just did that. I was happy. And I felt like completely like I outsourced that and automated it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was brilliant. And again, I'm not like pro and con. Like I'm tech agnostic. So if you're not using ChatGPT and you're using any other like Gen AI tool or whatever, just use the tools that you need or the apps that you think are relevant. But definitely outsourcing and automating is just like amazing. The last thing I'd say is prioritizing self care. And when I say self care, that's literally giving time for me. So, and taking care of my mind and my health as a whole. So, I do schedule breaks, I put them in the calendar. I do them in my personal and my work calendars. I do prioritize my sleep, I do prioritize my exercise, my, like, there are certain things that are just for me, they are non-negotiables. I need to do that because this is how I can support my team at work, support my company, support myself, support the people around me, my family, obviously, which is very important. And I just have to really know how I'm performing. So I do listen um to my body and my mind and just fitness track. Like I'd say, I don't know, if you're into fitness, you have apps, whether it's, I don't know, like Garmin or Whoop or Apple, whatever you're using, just make sure that you manage you look at how you're performing, your sleep level, your health, your battery, your body battery, and if you're doing exercises, just make sure that you're not overtraining. Or so I think those are the things that I just take care of. And obviously, if you want to go do spas and things like that or travel, that's one of the things that I do, think about. But I think for me, when it comes to self-care, it's not those traveling or these spa days, or which are equally important, but for me it is really looking at, have I had enough breaks? Have I actually exercised? Am I sleeping well? Am I eating well? Am I drinking enough? So those are the things that for me are really important self-care things that I kind of look into. And obviously that helps me with the time management piece, because if I'm healthy and if I'm feeling well, if I'm feeling positive, then I can do all the other stuff. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I think those are some of the questions that I got, and I thought I'll just share those with you. Those are really the 5 tips, which I'll just go just summarize them quickly. Prioritize, do the things you love, make sure that you prioritize things. I definitely use time blocking in my calendar. Everything is connected to my calendar across um, all my devices. I eliminate any distractions and decision fatigue. I just no time for those. Outsource and automate when possible. And obviously, the last thing is please, please take care of your self care and your health. So I think those are for me. I think 5 game changing things that I've learned across the year. Um, and I would highly recommend, but I'd love to hear what you do as well. How do you manage your time? How do you get a lot done? Um, it'd be interesting to get your views. And yes, please do comments. As I said, I'm keeping an eye on the comments. So after the video, just please let me know. I'll definitely respond. Hope that was helpful. And do share with me as well if there is anything where you think you would like me to discuss or share on my live videos or in my posts. Just write them like on in the comments, and I'll just make sure to share them going forward. Hope that was helpful. Have an awesome Tuesday and have a great week ahead. And yeah, see you in the next